No, so I was, I was a wind-up toy for achievement, I guess is the best way to describe it.
A wind-up toy for achievement.
So just, show me something, I'll figure out how to try to be good at it. And but yeah, I was. Got an undergrad degree in chemistry and biology, thought I wanted to be a doctor. Decided not to be a doctor for two reasons. One was I loved science and I loved the idea of helping people, but when I really thought about it, I didn't like the nature of the work, giving shots and seeing sick people. But secondly, I really became enamored with this idea of leverage. And I realized the doctor's contribution to society is limited to the 8 or 10 hours a day they work. And I thought, if you have the right set of goals, your contribution is multiplied by the number of people you have working toward those goals. So I knew nothing about business. Both parents were veterinarians. I didn't even know there was such thing as an MBA. But I knew I wanted to graduate school. I mean, my first job out of business school was a CFO, and I couldn't even spell CFO. Of course,
well, you were a chemistry major, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
if it wasn't a compound, you couldn't get there, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
But it was a great place to start, and I joined a startup company. I had 5 offers coming out of school and took the lowest paying job of the 5 offers. So I had a little trouble with math, But the good news, I had Linda. So we figured if we lost everything we had, it would only be a nickel 98. And so that's what I did. So I've been part of entrepreneurial companies for 30 years. I mean, I'd worked for Hewlett-Packard, and I felt like I was, in this small cog in this enormous watch. And if I died, it wouldn't make a difference, and probably nobody noticed. So that was why I took this job, is I wanted to be something where I thought I could make a contribution, but something was growing very fast, and where the absolute level of contribution could grow. And that was the draw to me, was to kind of see if we could do it. And somehow the idea of taking a salary and getting an X% raise every year for the next 30 years was very confining to me. Right. So, I mean, maybe the best example, and really the way I came to see just how I was wired for achievement, was in the largest failure of my life. So this is the 7th business I've been associated with in 6 different companies. 5 out of 6 have been successful, but the one that wasn't was a large-scale startup doing business in Brazil. So this company had won the license to compete with the incumbent phone company in Brazil. I joined as a CFO. We raised $2.5 billion, hired 4,000 people in 2 years, because the way we won the license was to commit to building out service in 80 cities in 2 years. So it was this massive build-up. It was a joint venture with Bell Canada, Qualcomm, and this private company in Denver that I was a part of. So we raised all that money. It took off like a rocket. I mean, it was the fastest growing competitive local exchange carrier in the world. Put on 500,000 customers in 10 months. The stock price tripled. We turned money away. We did the 4th largest venture capital raise in U.S. history at this time. We raised $255 million in one round, and boom, off we go. And we had a tiger by the tail, and then the capital markets crashed. And we saw some cracks show up in the operations of those 500,000 customers. Ultimately, 200,000 of them couldn't pay their bills. And that, for those of you who are less financially oriented, that's a problem. I got recruited by the shareholders, asked if I would move to Brazil and be the CEO. So I moved to Brazil before we knew how serious the issues were. Linda's only requirement was that I had a bodyguard, which I did, and a bulletproof car. So I was chauffeured around. And when I got there, it was way, way worse than I thought, and ended up having to lay off 1,500 out of 4,000 people, and doing press conferences in Portuguese, translators, which, and with the leadership team, it was horrific. Ultimately, we sold the company, restructured the debt. People got some money out of it, but they didn't get all their money back. But that business failure, to get directly to your question, just paled in comparison to just the spiritual anguish that came from that. And I just wrestled, and I found myself reading Job. There are like 42 chapters of Job. It's a very long book of just this pain. And coming out of the Christian tradition, these just words of Christ just penetrated me. Any of you who does not give up everything he has can't be my disciple. And Lynn and I would say to each other, gosh, we've given up everything. I moved to Brazil, left the family in Colorado because I knew it was going to be that tough. And, what else do I have left to give? And out of that experience, I realized in that failure that it wasn't until I came into a failure like that and saw that when the achievement went away, a big part of my God went away. I mean, I was a plan your work and work your plan, start with the end in mind, that the culture just screams that at us. But for me, the heart of the spiritual journey, at both the beginning and the ongoing call, is surrender. Am I living my life for myself or for God for this lifetime or in this moment? So the real thing that came out of that Brazil experience was, instead of plan your work your plan, are you willing to live fully in the present moment and let me unfold the pattern of your life as I see fit? The temptation is to kind of skirt around the edges, make it a little bit gray, as you said. But at least for me, the solution is to let the black grow blacker than black and to walk right through the center and to embrace the pain. Yeah. Because when it's seen through the eyes of God, what happens is he brings purpose to the pain. Yeah. He is not a sadist. But he also disciplines us as sons and daughters. And so he will allow us, just like, those of us who are parents will, and it's painful. And to say that it's not is to spiritualize it, and it's a lie.
It's not authentic.
Yeah.
Not authentic. How about a warm round of applause for Linda?